Good to see everybody. Hope you're having a good summer.
Coach, how was your trip to Japan in the offseason so far?
It was nice, a nice quick getaway, with my family, so that was nice. Getting on recruiting calls at 3:30 in the morning in Japan when everyone was getting their act together here. That was different. I would do that for a couple hours until my wife got up, and then we would resume the trip. But it was very good. Thank you.
Sounds like not a lot of sleep, Coach, but that's part of the game, right?
It reminded me a lot of when we played in Shanghai years ago. We played just to kick off the season. Just your body has a hard time adjusting. I remember at that thing I was working out at like 4 a.m. or 4:30 in the morning. It's just your body clock doesn't change a whole lot.
What's the best part about coming to this event, and what do you most enjoy about getting out here?
I think it's a great event just because of just the access to all these games and just how it's put together and how efficiently it's run. And as coaches, you like to see players with their high school team and just see how they play in that environment. AAU is great too because you collect some of the best players from a variety of high schools and locally in a particular area. But just to see a little more structure with their high school teams, and that's always a positive.
This offseason's been pretty different for a lot of ASU fans with 2 5-stars coming in. Can you just speak on what that's been like?
It's been a lot of fun. It was obviously a lot of work on a lot of different levels, and a lot of people helped us put us in a position to get after it on the recruiting trail and accomplish what we've been able to accomplish. And the school has made an unbelievable commitment to prioritizing basketball. I've had great conversations with Dr. Crow. Met with him yesterday. Jim Rund has been outstanding in the transition until Graham has now taken the reins, and he and I have already spoken, and he's been very clear about how important basketball and football, men's basketball, football, women's basketball are to an athletic department. And so we're trying to run with that. We're getting great donor support on the NIL front, which I think is setting us up to be in a good position heading to the Big 12.
Coach, you were pretty hard on yourself at the end of the season and some emotional comments about just rebuilding and retooling the roster. I guess to pull that off, what's the feeling like, but knowing that the work still has to be done?
Yeah, it's very early. We literally are wrapping up our first week of our summer program tomorrow, but there's been renewed hope, that's for sure. It's very premature to dive into individual players at this point because I'm still just less than a week really under my belt with them in the gym. But it's exciting. It's as hopeful as I've been in a while here. I mean, I think it does because we weren't limited in any ways. Like, we were able to target and go after the type of players that we want in our program, and we had the resources to be able to do that, and that's translated into putting us in a position that we should have more success. And if we don't, then it's probably my fault.
You talked about having all those resources to pick up these recruits and these transfers, but in terms of just relating to different players on different levels, how do you find different ways to relate to them and sell them on Arizona State?
I mean, it's every kid's recruitment is different, and I think we had a very good plan. I think we targeted experienced players that have 1 year to make it happen and know how important winning is. We have a couple of guys that we retained that want to move forward with winning and get back to the NCAA tournament. We have some exciting high school prospects that have such big futures ahead of them. So I think we've really put together the type of team in different layers and different types of players that I'm excited to see how that all comes together.
Some of those guys like B.J. Freeman and Austin Mason, what do those guys bring? What did you see in them to bring them in here?
Just they've been super productive, both those guys, at mid-major level, but I coached at that level, and I've been in those leagues to know that the very best players in those conferences translate very well to a power conference level, and I'm already seeing that in workouts.
And obviously Austin Nunez back at the ASU as well. You guys had him for his freshman season. How does it feel to have him back in Tempe?
He's had a great week, and he's he's just a ball of energy. He works really hard. He's he's really grown up some too. He put some weight on from his year at Ole Miss. But more than that, he's been very vocal in our workouts, which I like. And there's a level of comfort there because he's been at ASU and been with me for a year. So it's been exciting seeing him. He's like one of those guys that no one really even would talk about really on our roster, but he's already made an impact this first week.
Has he grown in any particular areas that jumped out at you right away, like since you hadn't seen him for a year?
I know that what he did in his freshman year, the games he had against Michigan and New York, and I remember him just picking up Tiger Campbell, full court and not being, intimidated as a freshman, and all those things. His competitive drive is very strong, and he's, I think he's very motivated. He didn't play as much as I think he wanted to last year at Ole Miss, and he's made an impact already.
Were you surprised at all that your brother decided to stay in Connecticut? When Lakers were really after him.
Yeah, that was interesting. We didn't really communicate prior to the announcement. We missed each other phone tag, and then got a text message at like 3:45 a.m. on our time. Hey, call me as soon as you can. And obviously, I woke up to the news breaking, and we talked several times over a couple of days, and it's just. I just think he is very comfortable where he is, and he has aspirations to pursue things that he wants to achieve, and maybe the timing wasn't exactly right, but I know he took the opportunity very seriously.
What was your reaction, Bobby, when he was just telling you kind of what was transpiring?
Well, I mean, it's without going into real specifics, it's different conversations that you would have as college coaches. Now you're talking about like an NBA franchise and different ingredients that go into like maybe leading that type of a program. So it's a whole different world that he would have been moving into. But yeah, it's just, we're basketball junkies. We love the game. I think we appreciate the history of the game and what the Lakers organization has meant to the game of basketball. So like it was flattering, I think, in some ways for him to know that he could have had that opportunity if he chose to.
Does it speak to something in college basketball that he decided to stay? Everybody talks about the sport's changing, but it seems like schools and programs invest in coaches and players that things can work out pretty well.
I mean, just take a look at what he's done in 2 years and just the memories he's created and the lives he's changed with the kids he's coached and what they're moving on to do professionally and the impact that has, and that's a part of our mission as coaches. And so he's got another, top 5, top 10 preseason team to chase another championship. So I can understand totally why he chose to do it.
And obviously, Coach, a lot of moving parts, not just with ASU basketball, but ASU as a whole, with Graham Rossini being brought in as the new athletic director. So have you really had a relationship with him over the years in his time at ASU, and what do you think he'll bring to ASU basketball?
Yeah, Graham was never directly involved with men's basketball as an administrator, but we certainly crossed paths quite a bit. I've always felt like Graham was a very sharp guy. He understands college athletics. I think he knows what the priorities are in the athletic department right now. I think he's very motivated. He's a former ASU guy, so it's personal for him to really make this work, and he understands. I think we're at a turning point with all the change that's happening, and he's prepared to attack that change in college athletics, and then even with our move to the Big 12 as well.
Coach, with that move to the Big 12, are there any new motivations, new things that you're telling your players going into such a big conference?
Well, we already, in our first team meeting in the summer, already discussed, bits and pieces of our non-conference schedule, which is not public yet because we're still, finalizing things with contracts and stuff. And hopefully over the next few weeks we could get more information to you guys about that. But we're getting after it again in the non-conference. So, we're going to go challenge ourselves and play people, and we're not going to just sit at home and try and beat every team we can by 40 points and have our net ranking be the best in the country or something. We're going to go play a tough non-conference, and the Big 12 is the best basketball league in the country, in my opinion. And so the water is very deep. So we're either going to work hard and prepare for that, or we're going to be in trouble.
talented conference, but it's also physical, fast-paced conference. Do you feel like the style of your teams in the past kind of translates well into the Big 12?
I like, again, our construction right now, and I got away from, I think we had an inability to shoot, at many different levels last year, threes, free throws. We had a hard time scoring. It was, so we brought in a lot of guys that are capable of putting the ball in the basket, and I think some of my best teams I've had have been able to score and have been able to get up and down and play at a good pace. So I think we've brought in guys that fit that.
With Adam and Sean kind of being the two guys that played the most last season, although Bryson too, what kind of role are you looking for them to play early on this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, Sean, today we did some of our testing this morning, and he jumped and touched everything on his vertical jump. I mean, it's his measurables are off the charts. I think it's all about maturity and growth and for him, and he got some experience under his belt last year, and I think he's got to have a great off season, and we've been talking to him about that. Just he's 19 years old still, so he's a guy to continue to get better and develop, and we hope that he takes full advantage of that this summer and puts himself in a good position. And Adam is just a natural leader for us. He's played a lot of games, with a lot of big games in his career, and he wasn't happy with our results last year, our record, not getting to postseason, all things that we're focusing on this year. So he's very motivated to do that as well.
Talking about another returner, your son's coming back. He announced on Twitter, and he also showed a video of him signing a scholarship.
Yeah.
How exciting was that?
It's very exciting. It's very rewarding for me because I mean, it's important to have stability and guys that have been in the program, that understand what we're trying to accomplish, that have a great work ethic and are great teammates. And I think Bobby is all those things. He's gonna be great in practice. He's gonna set the tone in the locker room with the players. He's gonna convey messaging through our coaching staff to our players, and with certain roster changes that happened late in the cycle for us, it opened up the possibility for us to do that, which we felt was important.
Do you guys expect to fill the last scholarship elsewhere, or is it all in-house?
It would have to be a special situation, and it would have to happen before before we start in the fall. Like, I can't do an October pickup or a September pickup. I don't think that's going to be in the cards this year. Yeah.
You talked about the resources you've gotten, and I remember at the end of last season you said, I might have to get on the phone and call some people who have the resources to help us. I mean, was it a different off season for you? Did you have to kind of sell some of your donors into helping the NIL collectives or whatever?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, I would say I'm a prideful person, and I feel like I don't need to ask anybody for help and assistance, and that's just in my nature. But in our current climate, I had to go out of my comfort zone to reach out to people that I knew personally in my own network and encourage them to try and donate to our collective. I did that with donors. I've met with donors. I've gone to other functions that maybe in the past I didn't do as much of, which I feel like you got to evolve and get better at in all ways, and that's another way that I need to continue to get better. And then the docuseries is something that we're very excited about doing, and once everything is finalized with that, we'll give you, more details on that. But that's just an exciting way to build our brand, ASU basketball, and we think we have the components to have a really good season. We get a chance to see that and more behind the scenes look and player features and different things from a recruiting standpoint could be exciting for future years if we continue to do this, because I think the players that we did bring in were excited about the possibility of knowing that they could talk more about their lives and themselves beyond just being a basketball player.
Do you think the docuseries was a good selling point this year?
It was a fraction of it. Certainly you have to check a lot of boxes, and you have to, the move to the Big 12 was great. Knowing that we lost a lot of guys through graduation and transfer, that there was opportunity to play, and then what we did to build our NIL was significant too.
You're going to wear one of those mics during a game?
I'm not sure. We haven't gotten that far yet with, I would be a little nervous to do that. But I had one on in our summer workout a couple days ago, and I was thinking about it like the first 10 minutes or so, and then I really totally forgot I even had it on. So that's the whole point, is to get more content, that you're not trying to just think about what you're going to say. It's more authentic and natural, you know.
Can you talk about playing Grand Canyon again and at Footprint Center, what that's going to be like?
Well, I'm excited for that opportunity because I've seen what Grand Canyon has been able to do over the last couple of years, and it's probably started back to when I went to go see Holland Woods play his senior night at GCU, and just see the environment there was an electric environment, and you could see why there's so much enthusiasm about the program. And you know, I'm a big fan of Bryce and what he's done, and you know, they're on the cusp of being a top 25 team maybe. So if we could schedule a game like that, I mean, those games have real value for us.
You talked about you were talking about Dan earlier in his decision. Yeah, he was here vocal about how much he hated the transfer portal and the whole situation, and he's been pretty vocal about that. You had to go through that a lot too. I was just curious, you guys talk about that a lot. Do you share strategies? Because he's been pretty good at it, as much as he complains, and then you picked up a lot of good guys.
Dan doesn't complain, does he? No, no. Dan is, you know, I think he's. You know, we both have discussed all the changes, and I think we're both aware that we have no choice but to attack, you know, the current environment and do the best we can. And it's not what we grew up with, certainly the new model of college basketball, but. We'll see where this goes. I know there's a lot of legislation possibly on the horizon, and we'll see how that might change things. But you know, I think tightening the windows of the portal is a good thing. To not the more we can condense that and give guys, you know, a few weeks to a month to go out and figure out a new possibility, I think it would give all of us a chance to really do our jobs better and put a team together, you know, in a quicker way. But I'm not sure that he or I complain a ton to each other about anything.
We'll take another one or two questions.
Well, just following up, do you find you take a different approach even to an event like this and saying, well, I'm going to get half my guys from the portal anyway, maybe this is a guy, you know, I could look at the second time around if he decides to go to the portal, or do you look at them high school guys like you still look at them like they're going to be freshmen? And how do you
I've always looked at it like that, where you recruit guys and you do the best job you can, and you try and get them on campus, and you try and sell them that this is the best option. If it doesn't work and they feel like they want to go somewhere else, you don't, you know, certainly I'm not going to burn that bridge, and I'll wish them the best. And then if it doesn't work out, then maybe there would be a chance that they would think about us on the second go around. But I look at high school like I haven't abandoned high school. Like I think that the top guys could come in right away and impact your program and win. And you know, I'm not sure where we finished out with our recruiting 2024 ranking exactly, but I have 3 guys in my program right now that will impact winning this year in a big way. And then if you construct it properly with veteran players that will assist them, then I think it's the best of both worlds. I think that honest communication is always important, and having a plan for who you're recruiting, because if you're recruiting a 3-star guy and he may not play as much as he wants to play, and if you're not upfront on that in the front end, then you're going to lose that guy most likely to the portal. So you know, I feel like this year we brought in 3 guys that I know are going to play a lot and have a big part of our success. So I feel comfortable, you know, bringing freshmen in, you know, in that climate.
The term culture at this point in sports gets thrown around a lot, and this is basically your second season, you know, constructing a pretty much brand new roster. So now that you're sort of putting these puzzle pieces together, how do you sort of plan to set the standard and build that culture towards the start of the season?
Well, I'm a gym rat, and that's it. So that's how I grew up with the game, and that's the only reason I took the game as far as I did. And you know, I learned from a lot of great people over the years. I've seen a lot. Like the guys might not this week have seen the same drill twice, and I've been on the floor with them every day. It's just, you know, so I think this is my bread and butter. Like I love, you know, doing zigzag and, you know, shell defense and installing our offense and all that stuff as we get through the summer and late in the summer into the fall. But like, I love the skill development, the player development piece in the summer, and just getting to see these guys and what they can do and things they might get better at, and just getting in the gym with them. And that's in my DNA to do that.